listening to the Holy Bible 1-Year Challenge with Master Storyteller Michael Wood, featuring the easy-to-read version and used by permission from Bible League International. Enjoy the show!
Hello everyone, welcome to day 23. We're continuing in the book of Genesis, and now Jacob must face the truth that his son is now the governor of all Egypt and serves right next to Pharaoh himself. And now he must pick up everything in his family and move to Egypt. Remember, the people of Egypt are not Hebrew. In fact, their religion is completely different. But there is a great famine in the land, and being able to go to Egypt could be a salvation for Jacob and his family. He just needs a little motivation. So God himself steps in. We're also continuing in the book of Matthew. And Jesus tells his followers to watch out for the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. The followers spend some time wrestling with that statement and its meaning. But the big event in chapter 16 is the big reveal that Jesus admits that he is the Son of God. But equally important to that is how it was revealed, that Jesus actually didn't come forward and make that claim. Instead, it was revealed through God, through one of his followers. And it's that divine intervention that turns speculation to truth. If you enjoy the show, visit me at patreon.com/storymaster. You'll find the link in the description box below. By contributing as little as $1 per month, you will enable me to continue this ministry, and you'll get cool rewards too. Together, we're going to get through the Bible in 1 year. Let's get started. Genesis chapter 45. Joseph could not control his feelings any longer in front of his servants, so he ordered them all to leave. When only the brothers were left with Joseph, he told them who he was. He began to cry out loud. He cried so loudly that the Egyptians heard it, and the news reached those in the king's house. Joseph said to his brothers, "I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?" But his brothers were so shocked to see him that they could not answer. So Joseph asked them to come closer. And when they were close enough, he said again, "I am your brother Joseph. I am the one you sold as a slave to be taken to Egypt. Now don't be worried. Don't be angry with yourselves for what you did. God is the one who sent me here ahead of you. I am here to save people's lives. This terrible famine has continued for 2 years now, and there will be 5 more years without planting or harvest. So God sent me to be here when you came, so that I could make sure you have descendants living on earth in the future. He sent me to save your lives in this amazing way. So it was God who sent me here, not you. God made me the one to give advice to the king. He has put me in charge of his whole palace and made me the ruler over all the land of Egypt." Then Joseph said, "I want you to hurry back to my father and give him this message from me, his son. God has put me in charge over all Egypt, so come here to me quickly. You can live in the land of Goshen, where you will be near me. Bring your children, your grandchildren, your flocks and herds, and all you have. I will take care of you during the next 5 years of famine. This will keep you and your family and all your people from losing everything." Then Joseph said to his brothers, "Surely what you have seen and what I have said has shown all of you, including Benjamin, that I am really Joseph. So tell my father about all the honor I have received here in Egypt. Tell him about everything you have seen. Now hurry, go and bring my father back to me." Then Joseph hugged his brother Benjamin, and they both began crying. Then Joseph hugged and kissed all his brothers as he continued to cry. After this, the brothers talked with him. When Pharaoh and his officials heard that Joseph's brothers had come, they were very happy. Pharaoh said to Joseph,
Tell your brothers to take all the food they need back to the land of Canaan, and tell them to bring your father and their families back here to me. I will give you the best land in Egypt, and they will eat the best food we have here. Also, tell them to take some wagons from here so they can bring their wives and children along with your father. Don't worry about bringing all their things. We will give them the best of what we have in Egypt.
So Jacob's sons did this. Joseph gave them wagons as the king had ordered, as well as food for their trip. He gave each brother a new set of clothes to wear. But he gave Benjamin 5 sets of clothes and 300 pieces of silver. Joseph also sent gifts to his father. He sent 10 donkeys with bags full of the best things from Egypt. He also sent 10 female donkeys loaded with grain, bread, and other food for his father on his trip back. Then Joseph told his brothers to go. As they were leaving, he told them, Don't argue about any of this on the way home. So the brothers left Egypt and went to their father Jacob in the land of Canaan. And they told him,
Joseph is still alive, and he is the ruler over the whole land of Egypt.
Jacob was so shocked, he did not believe them. But then they told him everything Joseph had said, and Jacob saw the wagons Joseph had sent to bring him back to Egypt. That made him feel better, and he said,
Now, I believe you. My son Joseph is still alive. I must go and see him before I die.
Genesis chapter 46. Jacob and his family go to Egypt. So Jacob began his trip to Egypt, taking with him everything he had. First he went to Beersheba. There he offered sacrifices to God, the God his father Isaac worshipped. During the night, God spoke to him in a vision and said,
Jacob! Jacob!
Jacob answered.
Here I am.
Then God said,
I am God, the God of your father. Don't be afraid to go to Egypt, because there I will make your people a great nation. I will go to Egypt with you, and I will bring your people out of Egypt again. You will die in Egypt, but Joseph will be there to close your eyes with his own hand.
Then Jacob left Beersheba. His sons, known as the sons of Israel, took him to Egypt with their wives and all their children, and traveled in the wagons that Pharaoh had sent. They also had their cattle and everything they owned in the land of Canaan. So Jacob went to Egypt with all his descendants. This included his sons and grandsons, and his daughters and granddaughters. He took his whole family to Egypt with him. The family of Jacob. These are the names of Jacob's sons and family, known as the Israelites, who went to Egypt with him. Reuben was Jacob's first son. Reuben's sons were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. Simeon's sons were Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, and Zohar. There was also Shaul, who was born from a Canaanite woman. Levi's sons were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Judah's sons were Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. His oldest sons, and Onan, had died before the family left Canaan. Perez's sons were Hezron and Hamul. Issachar's sons were Tola, Pua, Job, and Shimron. Zebulun's sons were Sered, Elon, and Jalil. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun were Jacob's sons from his wife Leah. Leah had these sons in Mesopotamia. She also had a daughter named Dinah. There were 33 people in this part of Jacob's family. Gad's sons were Zaphon, Haggai, Shuni, Esbon, Uri, Arodi, and Erelai. Asher's sons were Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, Beriah, and their sister Sarah. Also, there were Beriah's sons, Heber and Malchiel. These were Jacob's sons from Zilpah, the slave woman Laban had given to his daughter Leah. there were 16 people in this part of Jacob's family. Jacob's wife Rachel had 2 sons, Joseph and Benjamin. Joseph, who was already in Egypt, had 2 sons there, Manasseh and Ephraim. Their mother was Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, the priest in the city of On. Benjamin's sons were Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Mupim, Hupim, and Ard. These were the sons of Jacob by his wife Rachel. There were 14 people in this part of Jacob's family. Dan's sons were Hushim. Naphtali's sons were Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. Dan and Naphtali were the sons of Jacob and Bilhah, the slave woman Laban had given to his daughter Rachel. There were 7 people in this part of Jacob's family. The total number of Jacob's direct descendants who went with him to Egypt was 66 people, not including the wives of Jacob's sons. Also, Joseph had 2 sons born in Egypt, so Jacob's family in Egypt numbered 70 people in all. Jacob arrives in Egypt. Jacob sent Judah ahead to ask Joseph to come to Goshen, where they would meet. When Jacob and his people arrived there, Joseph had his chariot made ready and went to meet his father in Goshen. When they met, Joseph hugged his father and cried for a long time. Then Jacob said to Joseph,
Now I can die in peace, because I have seen your face, and know you are still alive.
Joseph said to his brothers and to the rest of his father's family, I will go and tell Pharaoh you are here. I will say, my brothers and the rest of my father's family have left the land of Canaan and have come here to me. They are all shepherds and take care of livestock. They have brought their flocks and herds and everything they own with them. When Pharaoh calls for you to come meet with him, he will ask, What work do you do? This is what you should say. We, your servants, have taken care of livestock all our lives, the same as our ancestors did. Then the king will allow you to live in the land of Goshen, where you will not be near the Egyptians, who think shepherds are disgusting. Genesis 47, verses 1 through 12. Jacob settles in Goshen. Joseph went in to Pharaoh and said, My father and my brothers have come from Canaan with their flocks and herds and everything they own. They are now in the land of Goshen. Joseph chose 5 of his brothers to go with him to meet the king. Pharaoh said to the brothers,
What work do you do?
They said to the king,
We, your servants, are shepherds, the same as our ancestors were. We have come to live here for a while because the famine is very bad in Canaan. There are no fields left with grass for our animals. So please, let us, your servants, live in the land of Goshen.
Then Pharaoh said to Joseph,
Your father and your brothers have come to you. You can choose anywhere in Egypt for them to live. Give your father and your brothers the best land. Let them live in the land of Goshen. And if you know which ones are the most skilled, put them in charge of my own livestock.
Then Joseph called his father Jacob to come in to meet Pharaoh. Jacob greeted the king with words of blessing. Then Pharaoh asked him,
How old are you?
Jacob said,
I am only 130 years old, but all those years have been difficult. I have lived in different places as a foreigner, like my ancestors did, but they lived to be much older than I am.
Then Jacob again said words of blessing to the king and left. Joseph did what Pharaoh said and found a place for his father and brothers to settle. It was the best land in Egypt and the eastern part of the country near the city of Ramses. Joseph also gave his father, his brothers, and all their people the food they needed. Matthew chapter 16, verses 1 through 20. Some people doubt Jesus' authority. The Pharisees and Sadducees came to Jesus. They wanted to test him, so they asked him to show them a miracle as a sign from God. And Jesus answered, "When you people see the sunset, you know what the weather will be. If the sky is red, you say, 'We will have good weather.' And in the morning, if the sky is dark and red, you say that it will be a rainy day. These are signs of the weather. You see these signs in the sky and know what they mean. In the same way, you see the things that are happening now. These are also signs, but you don't understand their meaning. You people who live today are evil and unfaithful to God. That's why you have to see a miracle before you will believe. But no miracle will be done to prove anything to you. The only sign you will get will be what happened to Jonah." Then Jesus went away from there. Jesus and his followers went across the lake, but the followers forgot to bring bread. Jesus said to them, "Be careful. Guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." The followers discussed the meaning of this. They said,
Did he say this because we forgot to bring bread?
Jesus knew that they were talking about this, so he asked them, "Why are you talking about not having bread? Your faith is small. Do you still not understand? Remember the 5 loaves of bread that fed the 5,000 people? And the many baskets you filled with the bread that was left? And remember the 7 loaves of bread that fed the 4,000 people, and the many baskets you filled that time? So how could you think that I am concerned about bread? I'm telling you to be careful and guard against the yeast of the Pharisees and the Sadducees." Then the followers understood what Jesus meant. He was not telling them to guard against the yeast used in bread. He was telling them to guard against the teaching of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. When Jesus went to the area of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his followers, "Who do people say I am?" They answered,
Some people say you are John the Baptizer. Others say you are Elijah. And some say you are Jeremiah or one of the prophets.
Then Jesus said to his followers, "And who do you say I am?" Simon Peter answered,
You are the Messiah, the Son of the living God.
Jesus answered, "You are blessed, Simon, son of Jonah. No one taught you that. My Father in heaven showed you who I am. So I tell you, you are Peter, and I will build my church on this rock. The power of death will not be able to defeat my church. I will give you the keys to God's kingdom. When you speak judgment here on earth, that judgment will be God's judgment. When you promise forgiveness here on earth, that forgiveness will be God's forgiveness." Then Jesus warned his followers not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. Psalm chapter 14. For the music director, a song of David. Only fools think there is no God. People like that are evil and do disgusting things. They never do what is right. The Lord looks down from heaven to see if there is anyone who is wise, anyone who looks to him for help. But everyone has gone the wrong way. Everyone has turned back. No one does anything good. No, not one person. Those who are evil treat my people like bread to be eaten, and they never ask for the Lord's help. Don't they know what they are doing? They will have plenty to fear, because God is with those who do what is right. You wicked people want to spoil the hopes of the poor, but the Lord will protect them. I wish the one who lives in Mount Zion would bring victory to Israel. And the Lord makes his people successful again. The people of Jacob will be happy. The people of Israel will be glad. Thank you, everyone. That was day 23. Join us for day 24. Although the Israelites seem to be doing well at first, they start to run out of money, and Jacob gets very sick. And in the book of Matthew, Jesus brings his closest followers and shows them a vision into another world, showing that Jesus is not just a miracle worker, but someone who comes from a divine origin. We hope you enjoyed today's verses. Be sure to leave us a positive review and to share this podcast with your friends and family. Please join us for the next episode as we experience the Bible in 1 year.
Did you know we offer online courses in creative writing, literature, and web design? Visit us at storymaster.online to learn more.